Welcome back to the channel. I am Eric. I know it's been a while, but I'm back in action. And before I get started, I do want to shout out Brian Felter and Megan Love, two of my clients I'm working with. I just sold Brian a house about a week and a half ago. He found me through fishing. And then Megan, she found me through other forms of social media. We're going to close on a house on Friday. Shout out to them and everyone that calls me with all real estate related questions. I'm happy to help you. It's how I make my living. So special shout out to those two. But yeah, you're probably wondering why it's 75 degrees and I'm in full garb today. And it's because it's blowing 10 to 15. We've got 4-foot swell and thunderstorms brewing. But I'm going out, I'm going trolling. The goal is to be able to target bonita and Spanish. They are starting to show up. It's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time. So I'm gonna get out there. I've got my patch on, you can see back here, because I am prepared to be chumming these bad boys up. But hopefully not. I'm trolling because I do feel like that's gonna be the easiest thing I can do without getting too messed up. But let's get after them. I'll see y'all out there. Oh Lord, we got some swell today. About to test this river ox out. Once I get out of this inlet, it'll be better. We do have a falling tide with a south wind. It's kind of got it chopped up, but yeah, this is gonna take a little while to get out. Now you guys can't really tell, but this inlet gets so treacherous when you have that wind against the tide. So like that is legitly a 4-foot wall right there. So I just gotta ease my way through all this, take my time, pay attention, don't get sideways to a wave, get the nose directly into the wave. I'm kind of diagonally exiting now because I do want to get out of this current, because once I get out of the current, it'll stop jacking up the waves. And I'm almost out now, but you got to be very strategic about that. And you can see now I'm out of all that turbulent water. It's still very swelly. I do think that my homemade pasta is going to be feeding these fish at some point today, but we're going out and we're going to give it our best shot. So it's been 15-20 minutes. I'm still on the way out. It's rough, but we're making it. And I do want to shout out my buddy John Barnes. He texted me yesterday morning, a cooler bag absolutely slammed full of Spanish and bonita. And I was at church volunteering, so it broke my heart. But shout out to John. He really keeps me up to date on what he's doing. He fishes quite a bit too. But yeah, if you guys aren't going to church, y'all come check out Life Point here in Wilmington. I volunteer every few weeks, so you'll probably see me around. But also it's a great place to get to know God and build that relationship with other like-minded people. And yeah, so as John is texting me all these details about his fishing trip, all I can think about is, all right, God, I'm spending my time volunteering. Next time I go out, if you love me, Lord, you will flip that mother. But no, I don't want him to flip anything today. I want him to flip the fish in the boat. So yeah, we're still heading out. We're gonna see what happens. Once I finally made it out, I decided it was time to set the spread. I'm fishing 8 to 17 pound star rods with 30-pound braid. And I'm also fishing deep diver Yozuris. The two reels that I'm fishing is the Shimano Ultegra and the Vanford. If I were going to do it again as of today, I would most likely go with the Ultegras. They're a little smoother reel. And I've linked products down in the description below. But yeah, we're getting to fishing. The hard part is finding out what speed the fish like and what is going to trigger that reaction bite. I grew up trolling, and what we would do is we would basically troll the banks in Albemarle Sound for striper, what we called rockfish. And you could count on fish being in that 8 to 12 foot range. This is going to be very similar. They're hanging out near the structure. And if you can find them in an area and trigger that reactionary bite when the bait comes by them, you're going to catch fish. It's just a matter of dialing them in. So I trolled for an hour and a half. I did mark fish occasionally, but there was so much swell and it was continuing to grow that I just could not get in the right position until this fish. That's a fish. That's a fish. All right, we're on. You're on. I've taken the boat out of gear because I'm by myself. That's a good one too. Or, let's see guys. Just took the boat out of gear. I thought I had already. All right, boat's out of gear. Now we're drifting. First fish of the year for me. Here, I feel a lot of pulsing, which is a good sign. I'm hoping that this means they're going to turn on. Got a pretty solid amount of pressure on the fish. Don't know what it is yet. That is a bonito. It's a small one, but hey, we're on the board, baby! First fish of the year. He kind of foul hooked himself too. So we're gonna get him. He hit the pink. We're gonna get him off. And get him bled out. And perfect little eater size. All right, I'm gonna get him bled out. So that's not getting all over my boat. That should be good there. All right, buddy. Thank you for your service. Get my net up. First fish going in the cooler. All right, we didn't get skunked. Let's get back out. I've been trolling for an hour after that small bonito, and I have not had a single bite. And I am sick as a dog. I haven't thrown up, but I'm sick for sure. I feel terrible. So I don't have much more in me. I'm gonna have to go inside and see if there's something maybe in the inlet, or I don't know. I'm in bad shape though. I just made it back inside, and I am so sick. The people that don't get seasick, I envy you, because this is the worst feeling. You have no control over your body. You feel like you're gonna throw up at any second. You get that mouth-watering feeling, and it just will not go away until one, you either throw up, and then with me, I continue to throw up, or two, I get back into calm water or on some dry land. And I still feel sick. But yeah, we're gonna get inside. I can't wait to get back to the dock. So we are back, day 2 of chasing bonito in Spanish. I actually was really bad off yesterday evening. The wind just kept picking up and picking up. By the time I got home, it was blowing 20. I was gonna do a catch and cook, but I got to the dock today and I was backing into the marina, and a guy was loading his boat up, and I was like, hey man, y'all catch anything? He was like, man, my power steering went out on me. We couldn't even get out and fish. I was like, oh, that sucks, dude. I'm really sorry. It's always something, isn't it? And he said, it is. My truck's in the shop. I'm borrowing a truck to even fish, and then my boat broke down. I felt terrible. He was like, well, you want this ice? It's just gonna go to waste. I was like, yeah, I'd really appreciate it. What were y'all going for? He was like, well, I wanted to catch a bonito, but I couldn't even get out. I was like, well, look, you give me that ice, I'll trade you the one bonito I caught last night. And he was like, really, man? And I said, yeah, I got you, man. He was like, it's not small, or it's not very big, but it'll at least feed y'all tonight. He was so appreciative. He hooked me up with a couple bags of ice. I feel like everything ended up working out. So what I thought was gonna be the video has now changed. I'm back at it. Hopefully I catch a few more fish today, but I'm fishing around lunchtime. I'm trying something new. These fish can be caught throughout different times of the day, but it's all a matter of when they're feeding, and that's what it all boils down to. So we're heading out now. It's Griffin's birthday, so y'all give him some love. He's my little April 1st, April Fool. And yeah, let's see if we can get him and me some fish for the day. Caught anything? The small ones? Any, like how many you think you got? Okay, you been here a while? Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Appreciate it. So I trolled around for about 45 minutes and had zero action. But I did start to notice that there were fish very close to the bottom, hanging out about 5 to 10 feet off of that structure. I'll overlay a picture here, but I decided to stop and start jigging to see if I could pull something up off the bottom. All right, I hooked something. I got hung, and then I hooked something on the retrieve. Okay, so it is bluefish. There's bluefish all over the structure out here. And that makes sense. Come on, buddy. Come on, let me help you. Right. Oh, good Lord. All right. All right, there's a fish. Let's see what it is. I was reeling pretty quick. It could be bluefish. I'm doing quite a bit of digging here too. We'll see. Let's see. It's doing quite a bit of digging. Looks like it's a bonito. Cool. Cool. It's a small one, but it's the target. So the issue is I've been trying to figure it out. I've been trolling for 30-45 minutes, and the fish are too deep today. I'm just gonna flip him in. All right, cool. First one of the day, and we did something different. Or different than what we have been doing. I'm gonna bleed him out because I am gonna eat this bad boy. He's a little nicer than one yesterday, just by a little bit. Bleed him out before I put him in. Buddy, watch out, watch out. He's small, but he's a good one. Have y'all called any? Yeah, I've been marking them, but they're not hitting the troll for me. They're not hitting the troll for me. Yeah. Yeah, they're on the bottom. Really? There you go. I was trolling Yozuris. He's got one hooked up right here. They're just hanging out like 10 foot off the bottom. All right, well, we've got it figured out because my man right here has got one on. See if we can get another one. All right, there's a fish. See what it is. Really not putting up too much of a fight. Not yet, anyways. Okay, that's a bluefish. Perfect. You like bluefish? Okay. Same. All right. There it is. That's the good one. That's the good one right there. Oh, he came off. Oh, dang it. Well, we're in the action, which is better than what I've been doing. All right, feels a little better. Not as good as the last fish that hit. Still pretty good. I've got pretty tight drag here. Yeah, it's a good one. Whenever they start swimming me around the boat, I know it's a decent one. taking our time. Yeah, that's a good one. I've never really caught them on 2500s. I've always used 4000s just because the line pickup's a lot better. And today I'm fishing a 2500, which is kind of opening my eyes. I've always said you need a bigger reel with faster line capacity, but I'm proving myself wrong right here. This is a good sized fish right here. Alright, it's nice when all the stars align and you can actually get on some good fish with good weather. The rest of the week is supposed to blow, so this was my only opportunity to get out here during the middle of the day. Come on now. One thing I do want to note, the tide is shifting. It seems like that tide change has turned them on. There's a good one. This fish was worn slam out. Found my pliers. Usually they don't come in that easy. He's also hooked really well. Marking them all under me. Yeah. They're kind of like all in the water column right here. Did it hit you? So I fished that same area for probably another 45 minutes and didn't get any other action. The tide did switch, so I decided, well, let me troll for a little bit longer. So I put the trolling stuff back on, trolled for another 30 minutes, and it was just completely dead at that point. So I think I timed it, you know, well, considering I did get a couple of fish, but I could have started jigging earlier in the tide so that I would have had more opportunities. Either way, I'll see you guys back at the house where we can get these things cleaned and cooked. And there we have the spoil of war himself, Mr. Bonito. I gave my neighbor the other one, so I only have one fish, which is fine. There's just plenty of meat here. Best advice is keep your surfaces clean so that you don't have any fish slime causing the fish to move on you when you're trying to clean it. But a sharp knife goes a long ways too. You're just going to run right up this backbone and then follow it back. You can kind of angle your knife down. Just run right down that backbone. Work over the top of the ridge and then slice all the way through. Fish are really easy to clean, and you can see that quality of meat. And I like to leave this fat side on and then work on the other side so that it doesn't change the angle of how I'm using my knife blade. And I'm just running right down that backbone again. Same thing as the other side. Catching that ridge, running right down the edge of that ridge through the other side. And then that should pop right off. 1 and 2. I'm gonna go ahead and get the skin off. And then I'll go toss this carcass in the woods. But I guarantee you that it'll be gone before morning. Yeah, and I didn't really explain this section, but what I'm doing is just taking and putting pressure on this skinny piece And then I'm gonna start with a down slice, but don't go too deep, because if you go too deep, you'll cut right through it. And then you're gonna turn your blade parallel to the fillet. And you can work your knife back and forth, or you can kind of do both that and get the fillet itself tight, and you can kind of wiggle its way right through. Well, that's it. I'm not a fan of bloodline. It's where all the strong flavor is. And also you've got a little backbone that runs through here, so I'm just gonna cut all that right out too. Just working right down the edge of this backbone here. And that's all that bloodline. If you flip the fillet over, there's just a little bit left. I can come through here and knock that right off. And same goes for this guy right here. And it is interesting because when you do cook this fish, that bloodline actually separates from the other meat. So you can just, I didn't cut through that. I kind of pulled my meat apart. You don't do that. That was a mistake on my end. Let's try her again on this one. But I should have cleaned this fish yesterday. I got home, I was lazy. I did not feel like doing anything else. And the meat got a little soft sitting in the cooler overnight. It was iced well, but this is just a delicate fish. So I should have cleaned this the night before. It's all good, because it's still gonna taste great. This is that belly. It's really soft. Now, get that off there, bloodline there. Griffin loves this stuff. If he was sitting right beside me, he'd just be catching chunks until I stopped giving them to him. But he's inside. Yeah, that's pretty much it right there. Now we've got beautiful bonito ready to cook. I'm in the kitchen. I'm about to bring you along this journey of cooking this fish. We're going to start over here with the rice cooker, because that does take the longest time to prepare. And this is a little $30 rig I got off of Amazon. I'll stick a link down in the description below. But I've got a cup of rice here. I've already washed that to a degree. And I've got my little butter tray over here. I'm going to cut me about half of this and use the other half actually in my peppers. So I'm dropping that in there and get this loaded. And I actually have a little setting that just says white rice. So now I'm done. In about 25 minutes, that'll be ready. All right, I've got my butter going. I'm going to throw a little bit of this olive oil in here too. And that's gonna start melting down. And then I'm going to cut my peppers. Now, ironically, these are little bait knives. I love them in the kitchen. They're about $6 a piece, and they cut so well. I just, I'll use a single knife for about a year. When it starts to wear out, I'll actually move it over to the tackle box and then order me another one. But they're serrated. They work really well. I guess y'all can assume that I do have some redneck tendencies. So I'm using a bait knife to cut my veggies. But yeah, I've already washed everything. So it's all clean. Getting everything cut up now. I'm a huge pepper fan. I could eat peppers every single day, which I do eat them a lot of days. Getting my big chunks, cutting them up a little more. I think I'm good. All right, now that's just gotta sit on the heat for a little bit, and eventually it'll start to actually stick to the pan, and then I'll add some water to it and it'll kind of like steam it. So I am a huge fan of seasoning. This is my crushed black pepper. Getting this really, really seasoned because I'm gonna mix it in with the rice. And that rice will have that bland flavor, so if this is super seasoned up, then I'll be ready to rock. Throwing some rosemary. Got a little bit of basil. Don't go too heavy on basil and oregano because they're a little bit stronger. And then crushed red pepper, which is my absolute favorite. A little bit of salt, just enough to dust it. And lastly, a little bit of cayenne, not too much of that because that will overtake everything. But I'm just gonna kind of let this simmer. You can see the onions starting to break up a little bit. Let this sit in the heat. All right, I'm starting to stick a little bit. I can hear it. Kind of changes the sound a little bit. Mix it up real good. And I'm just gonna drop some water in there on it. And that gives it that separation, and it'll kind of let it steam on itself. All right, we're cooked down now. I've turned off my heat. I'm just going to let this simmer down, and my rice should be done in a few minutes. So we'll start working on the fish here shortly. All right, the rice is finished, so I'm opening that up. This is really hot, so I gotta be kind of quick with it. Woo! Yeah, sure. Slide that out. And there's my rice. And I like to go ahead and wipe this out just while it's hot. It wipes out really well when it's freshly opened. Just keeping it clean. Really, it's just moisture more than anything, and I'll leave that up and let that kind of dry out and cool down. Take my little rice cake here, break it all up. All right. And now I'm going to add my peppers into my rice. And I just love this combination. And it doesn't look like it'd be a lot of food, but this is a full cup of rice, 2 peppers and an onion. So this is gonna be plenty. All it's gonna take is 1 piece of fish to kind of top me off. And that's also a way that you can make it stretch. I mean, bought this bag of rice for $5. It's 10 pounds. These peppers were $1 a piece on sale at Harris Teeter. And then the fish, this is a pretty healthy and cheap meal. Yeah, now we're gonna start working on the fish. I love all this seasoning that's still left in here, but I'm gonna put this in a microwave for now. All right, heating everything back up, I'm adding a little bit more olive oil. And I'm really getting this pan hot. You can hear it start to sizzle. I just added olive oil to it to kind of give it that non-stick property. I want to get it really hot because we learned over cooking this fish over the years that you really only want to sear the outside. You want the inside to be pretty raw. If you overcook bonito, it gets a really strong fishy taste, in my opinion. And it's much better when it's super raw. So we're about to throw that on in a second once this gets hot. All right, we're going on. I'm gonna give it 1 minute. With that. We're at 30 seconds, 30 more seconds, and I'm flipping it. A minute if I can get it up without messing it up too much. All right, we've got that good char going. All right, one more minute and we're done. We're eating. Cook it on the side a little bit for 10 or 15 seconds. All right. Good enough for me. All right, I'm turning off the heat. This is also entirely way too much food. I need at least 4 to 6 more people to eat all this. But we're gonna go moment of truth right here. I'm gonna show you what this fish looked like in the center. You can kind of see how it's pretty raw there in the middle. That's the best way to eat bonito. Goodness. Mix that all together. Get you some peppers, some rice, some fish. It's hard to beat. Thank y'all for watching. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. We just hit 7,000 subscribers, which is awesome. I never thought I'd even be here. And it's all because of you. You watch my videos, you subscribe to the channel, you share my videos, you tell other people about it. It's incredible. So thank you for being here. And I can't wait to get back out and get you another one. Catch y'all next time.